let's take a look at something that can go wrong. This will give you a clue on how to fix the specific problem, but it also might give you an overview on how to debug and find workarounds for issues that you may come up against. Let me show you the map for this orb. We have a simple box. Its floor is at 0 and the ceiling is at 256, and that's a simple domain. Then we have a box inside it. Now this box has a floor of 0 and a ceiling of 256. Let me change that for a moment. Okay, now the floor is at 128 and the ceiling is at 196. So save and load that so we can take a look at it. And here we can see that it's a box hanging in space. Its floor is there at 0 and its ceiling is at 192. Now let's change that. Let's make this 256. We'll make this 0. So the effect now will be to have a box that acts like a wall. See, we have a wall that basically divides the room. Now let me show you the problem. I'm a flyer, and I fly up to the top of this wall, and I end up poking out over the top of it. Show you that again. I fly up and I poke out over the top. Now, that is not the desired effect. There's two ways to fix this. Since I'm poking out over the top of that box, one way to fix it is to make this box taller. Let's make it 260 and see if that solves it. We'll just add 4 units. Wait a minute, the box is gone. It's disappeared. I tried to make it a little bit taller so it would poke out through the roof a little bit, and now it's gone. Well, the engine doesn't know where we want that box to be, because the back of it is a -1. Now, the domain that the box is in is 0, and usually the engine can tell what domain it's in because it looks and sees. But as soon as you poke out the top, it's now kind of in domain 0 and kind of in the void, so the engine gets confused on what you mean. So to unconfuse the engine, all you need to do is tell it explicitly that you want this to be in domain 0. And in case you don't know what I just did right there, I'm holding the shift key down to select all of these walls at the same time. Then I use A to unselect them. Okay, now when I save and load, the box is back, because the engine knows that I mean for it to be in domain 0. Alright, but I still fly out over the top. So let's make this 312. Just push it way the heck up above the ceiling. Fly up there, and now I can't go up over the top. It's just too high. So if you're making an internal wall, you could find that you fly over the top of it when you're poking around in the orb. One way to solve that is to make the wall poke out through the ceiling enough that you can't fly up over it. Another way to change this or alter the behavior is to look at what's causing it in the first place. And first, let's backtrack a little bit. Make that 256. And I'm just going to delete these walls. Oops. Remake them. That'll be domain 1. Save, load. Let's make sure our problem's still there. Sure enough, the problem's back. Alright. If we look at our player, right here, this is what's causing the trouble. This player's height is 12. Now what happens if we make that 16, make him a little bit taller? Fly up, see if it's suddenly fixed, and it's not. However, if we make this 17, does that take us above a magic number? Yes. It turns out if the player's height is 16 or less, you can find yourself flying out over the top of an internal wall made using a box. So, if it's okay to have your player height 17 or greater, then you won't have an issue with internal boxes. But if for some reason you really want the player to be short, then you're going to need to make all your boxes high enough that you can't fly over them. Now you notice to make them high enough, you have to start indicating what wall you're on, and you have to put in the back texture. A little more complicated. So if you just chose 12 as the height for the fun of it, and you're not committed to that as a necessary demand, then just make 17 the minimum height of your player, and everything will work out fine. But if you do need to use a shorter player for the visual effects, then go in here, take your height, send it up a little bit. 304 should be enough. And then you have to change all your walls to indicate what domain they're to be contained in. And this, we'll change that back to 12. And this will also fix the problem. We're just testing it again. Even though we've just done it, there is no replacement for testing. There's no substitute for actually testing. Alright, so here's an issue that you'll probably never run into, and a clue on how to solve it.